Ever get the feeling that there's just too much government? Too many layers of bureaucracy? Too many politicians? Red tape everywhere, for everyone. It can really make you mad. Don't you wish you could do something about it? You can. You can vote UKIP. Labour created the Welsh Assembly to keep the EU commissioners happy, yet only a quarter of the people in Wales wanted it. £67 million of your money on a fancy new conservatory. Then the Assembly members voted themselves several pay rises and at well above the rate of inflation. Yet there's nothing they can do that our 40 MPs in London can't.
The UK Independence Party is the only party that wants to abolish the Welsh Assembly and to leave the EU. Both have been a disaster for Wales. Take the health service, for example. We used to have 5 regional health authorities in Wales. Now we've got 22 local health boards at huge cost. To pay for this, there are a number of hospitals under threat of closure. In Powys alone, we have Llanidloes, Builthwells, Broncleys and Knighton all under threat.
This is also why there are longer waiting lists for operations in Wales than in England. We're paying for bureaucrats instead of nurses.
Welsh family farmers are being driven out of business so that Europe can dump its dubious meat and poultry surpluses on our market. We pay the EU billions of pounds more than we get in return.
We need to encourage our own farmers to produce our own food and biofuels. With the emphasis on the environment and global warming, it makes sense to eliminate, wherever possible, the need to transport food across the world. We can produce it here to regenerate our sadly neglected rural economy. The more we rely on imports, the more vulnerable we become as a nation.
The EU wants to get rid of national postal services. So say goodbye to rural post offices and many of the shops attached to them. UKIP wants power to be passed from the centre to local communities, from the state to the individual. Vote UKIP members to the Welsh Assembly, and we'll work tirelessly to do ourselves out of a job. That's what our 10 MEPs are doing in the European Parliament.
Have your politicians ever told you that 75% of our laws are made in Brussels and that all we can do is simply obey? Well, of course the answer is no, isn't it? And that's because Labour, Plaid, the Liberals and the Conservatives are all signed up to the European project and don't want you to know the truth. And it's just the same here with the Welsh Assembly. We've got an extra 60 full-time professional politicians running the Welsh Assembly, despite the fact that only 1 in 4 of you voted for it to exist in the first place. Only the UK Independence Party is standing up and saying, let's get our country back, let's make our own laws, let's save all that money, let's run our own affairs, and let's not be part of a United States of Europe.
We have been hoodwinked by every major political party. We've been hoodwinked by the European project. I've now joined up with UKIP. It's like coming home.
Listen to what the other parties are saying. Plaid Cymru think Wales can be a free nation in Europe. How? The EU believes in weakening nation-states so they can have more power for themselves. What difference can 4 Welsh MEPs make out of 784 in Brussels? Tony Blair created the Welsh Assembly to please the EU, the start of the breakup of the UK. The Tories put us in the EU in the first place. First they opposed the Assembly. Now there are jobs for the boys. They're all for it. And these are the biggest Euro fanatics of all. Without the Welsh Assembly and the EU, we can reclaim the billions of pounds that are rightfully ours, to increase state pensions, to relieve the most vulnerable from paying tax, to support our hospitals, our schools, our farming and fishing industries, to cut red tape for all businesses.
Don't stay at home, go out on May the 3rd and vote UK Independence Party and send our arrogant politicians a message that they won't forget.